Canada's cut rates down to 4.25%, so that's interesting. People are getting hands cut off in Vancouver, so we'll talk about crime. Those coutts boys are the worst thing to happen since sliced bread, right? But in Vancouver, be careful that you don't anger somebody who's wielding a machete and they might cut your hand off, right? And the judge let a trafficker go. We're going to watch the video. Tamara Lich is concerned about the juxtaposition between, and the optics between letting violent criminals go regularly and throwing the book at people like Tamara Lich, right? And so it's an interesting point that she makes, and it's well made, and there's a lot of crazy stuff. So there's lots happening, lots to get to. First, we have to start with the confidence and supply deal and Jagmeet Singh. Brian Lilly says, it's official. Jagmeet Singh is leaving his coalition deal with Justin Trudeau and calling the next election fight between Singh and Pierre Poilievre. I know, stop laughing. Oh, and this letter to the NDP caucus said, please don't share this with the media. It says you can share this with the media on Thursday, which is yesterday after 1 p.m. And, or no, Thursday's today. Sorry. And it did not stay private. Here's the whole letter. I'm going to read it because it's not actually all that long. Here it is. Today, Jagmeet will announce that we are leaving the confidence and supply agreement with the Liberals signed in 2022. No fourth party has ever set the national agenda as we have. Millions of Canadians have benefited as a consequence. There can be no doubt that we have effectively used our power to deliver for Canadians, and that we have done so with unprecedented results. Just a quick aside. I think that this is happening because Jagmeet Singh was told, if you don't leave this confidence and supply deal and give us a pathway to an election, we're going to have a leadership review and we're going to remove you for somebody who will do that. And so I think he's doing this. And the beginning of this letter to the caucus is highlighting the wins, but it's like the wins are not actually really wins, right? So anyway, back to this. And yet, like so many Canadians, we have been left frustrated and disappointed by Justin Trudeau's broken promises. His unwillingness to stand up to corporate greed has led to more people falling behind, while CEOs are making record profits. Meanwhile, we know that Pierre Poilievre's proposed cuts would make things even worse. Cutting the CBC would make things worse? Really? The $1 billion in bonuses to a useless bureaucratic layer of propagandists? I don't see how, but okay. Our country is at a crossroads, Jagmeet says. The Liberals are too weak, too selfish, and too beholden to corporate interests to fight Pierre Poilievre's agenda. The next election will give Canadians a chance. They will choose between Pierre Poilievre's callous cuts and a hopeful New Democratic Party vision. We have shown that we will stand united. We can win. When we stand united, we can win. For that reason, Jagmeet has decided that later today, he will be telling Canadians that we are exiting the confidence and supply agreement. When Parliament resumes in the fall, we will do what New Democrats always do. We will put Canadians first. We will approach every vote on its own merit. We will push for measures that help Canadians. We will not shy away from vigorously holding this government to account, and we will fight Pierre Poilievre's cuts. If this means triggering an election, we will be ready. This information needs to remain confidential until 1 p.m. No one should talk to journalists or do interviews today and tomorrow, and every media request should be forwarded to the media team. In addition to the announcement video that will be released today at 1 p.m., Jagmeet will do a speech and take media questions Thursday at 11:15 a.m. So my apologies. I thought that this was supposed to be quiet until 1 o'clock today, and that was incorrect. It was 1 o'clock yesterday. It still didn't stay quiet until 1 o'clock yesterday. Brian Lilly posted this at 11 o'clock or something to that effect. So it's interesting that people weren't really paying attention to the request. But, I mean, the rollout is kind of what the rollout is, right? Following this announcement, back to the end of the letter here, we will need your help to put forward our case for ending the deal, as well as putting forward our positive and hopeful vision. You can find communication materials attached here, blah, 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 blah. So they're pulling out of that supply deal, and it's interesting. It will have an impact. I don't know that it'll have a short-term impact. I don't know that that means we're going to an election, but the next confidence vote, maybe, but probably not. Even without the confidence and supply deal, NDP is incentivized to back the Liberals. Mickey says, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh asked his party to start building an exit plan from the Liberals during a June caucus meeting and decided to pull the trigger by mid-August, NDP officials say. The plan included releasing a video directly address Canadians first. So there you go. And you know what, we'll watch Jagmeet's video. It's almost 2 minutes, so it's a little bit long, and it's not, like, I don't think it's accurate. I don't think the information he's putting forward in it is accurate. Blaming grocery store CEOs when it's the carbon taxes issue and casting yourselves like casting the NDP as the party of, fighting for Canadians. I don't see that. I've never seen that. Fighting for Canadians to have dental care by forcing other Canadians to pay for that dental care, but also that dental care is not enough to actually solve the problem. I don't know that that's a solution. I don't think that that's a solution. I think making dental care so abundant and cheap is a better solution. But I guess that's the difference between the left and the right, I suppose, or the center and the left and the radical left. And also, the government is terrible at delivering services. Even when they went to the dentist and said, listen, we want you to clean some teeth. And dentist said, okay, it costs this much to clean teeth. And the government said, actually, we'd like to pay you around half that, $6 instead of 10, right? 60%. And they said, But then the ones who came on board are hoping for volume to offset the cost losses, right? And so it doesn't seem like it's a genuine, honest attempt to solve the problem. It seems like it's political virtue signaling using taxpayer dollars. And I think that you should just give the taxpayer dollars back to the taxpayer. Say, we're making private dentistry a priority to drive costs down for private dentists. Go to the dentist and say, how can we drive costs down for you guys? Well, offices are really expensive. Okay, can't do much about rent. Electricity is really expensive. Oh, maybe we could do something about that. Maybe we could do, like with taxes, right? Maybe we could do something about the other office running things through taxation, right? Like maybe you could not even do a carve out, just reduce the taxes on everything. And then maybe people would have cheaper dentists, right? Like there are solutions that aren't, please, daddy government, steal the rich people's money and give it to me in the form of dental care. Like really, here's Jagmeet Singh.
Today, I notified the Prime Minister that I've ripped up the supply and confidence agreement. Canadians are fighting a battle for the future of the middle class. Justin Trudeau has proven again and again he will always cave to corporate greed. The Liberals have let people down. They don't deserve another chance. There is an even bigger battle ahead. The threat of Pierre Poilievre and conservative cuts from workers, from retirees, from young people, from patients, from families. He will cut in order to give more to big corporations and wealthy CEOs. The fact is, the Liberals are too weak, too selfish, and too beholden to corporate interests to fight for people. They cannot be the change. They cannot restore the hope. They cannot stop the Conservatives. But we can. In the next federal election, Canadians will choose between Pierre Poilievre's callous cuts or hope. Hope that when we stand united, we win. That Canada's middle class will once again thrive together. In Canada, we take care of our neighbors. That's who we are. I've embraced that value my whole life. I'm running for Prime Minister because together we can and will stop conservative cuts. We can deliver relief and restore hope. Fix healthcare, build homes you can afford, stop price gouging. It's always impossible until it isn't. It can't be done until someone does it. If we're together, nothing is impossible. And we won't let them tell us it can't be done. Big corporations and wealthy CEOs have had their government. It's the people's time.
It's that's the catchphrase. That's what it's the people's time. They're communists. They're communists. Holy smokerotties. Wild. Absolutely incredible. In the middle of this, he basically takes Pierre Poilievre's platform, fix healthcare, build homes you can afford, right? We're going to do everything and more. It's the people's turn. But the reality is Jagmeet Singh isn't for the people. He's for carbon taxes, right? He's crushed the middle class more than Justin Trudeau because he's allowed Justin Trudeau to stay in power for much longer than he otherwise would be able to. And so, I mean, I don't trust Jagmeet Singh whatsoever. Here's Pierre Poilievre, and he says, if you're serious about this, then you should call an election as soon as possible. Here's Pierre Poilievre's response.
And now,
that's too fast, isn't it? Too fast. So, the other thing I noticed is Jagmeet Singh and Pierre Poilievre are exchanging name barbs. So Poilievre, it's branding as far as I understand it. Same as Trump, right? Like he brands other politicians and then he uses that branding to further his attacks, and which is fine. I mean, it's very political. I enjoy that kind of details and stuff. I don't mind it. But it's weird when the left does it. It feels more like name calling, and when the right does it, it seems more like strategy. Maybe that's just my bias. It's probably my bias, but it seems like when Jagmeet Singh calls Pierre Poilievre PP, that seems childish. Whereas when Pierre Poilievre calls Jagmeet Singh sellout Singh, that seems like strategy and branding, right? But maybe I'm wrong. Here's Pierre Poilievre.
And now sellout Singh has pulled a stunt. The sellout Singh stunt today, where he came out and claimed that he was wrong, that the coalition was a bad, costly idea, but he refuses to commit to voting for a carbon tax election. So my message to sellout Singh is this. If you're serious about ending your costly carbon tax coalition with Trudeau, then commit today to voting for a carbon tax election at the earliest confidence vote in the House of Commons. That way we can have a carbon tax election where Canadians will decide between the costly coalition of Trudeau and sellout Singh that tax your food, punish your work, take your money, double your housing costs, and unleash crime and drugs on your street, or common sense conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. In so doing that, we'll bring home the country we love, where hard work earns a powerful paycheck that buys affordable food, gas, and homes in safe neighborhoods, where our military is strong and our people are safe, where immigration is welcome but controlled, where drug addictions are treated, not worsened, where children can play safely in the streets, where the flag flies high, where we are the freest country on earth, and where the common sense of the common people are united for our common home.
Right? The whole patter, all of it. You get everything. Every single catchphrase, axe the tax, bring it home, rah, rah, rah. So there you go. Here is Jagmeet Singh's, hold on, I've got the Jagmeet Singh calling him PP. Jagmeet Singh responds. He says, I see PP has tweeted. He sounds worried. He should be. A great man once provided the antidote to the anger, hate, and division he spreads. It's love, hope, and optimism. What? The job of a politician, fundamentally at core, is to go to protests, go to where people gather and listen to what the people are saying. And then when you have an opportunity, you stand up in front of the people and you tell them what you think is wrong. And then if you articulate it right, and then how to fix it, right? And then you say, this is what's wrong and this is how to fix it, right? So if a politician went down to the Wilmot, to the Kitchener-Waterloo City Council, where all the Wilmot farmers were protesting, and you were like, listen, I want to get up and address everybody. I'm from this political party, and I'd like to tell you guys that I support you. If you got up there and you said, hey, everybody, let's talk about inclusion, equity, and all of that other stuff, and let's make sure that men dressed up as women can access drag queen story time. Those people would not be happy with that politician. You understand? And in the same way, or as a juxtaposition, if you stand up and say, I will not let Doug Ford expropriate your land. I will not allow whatever is happening to impact you in this in this negative way. I will create laws to protect you, et cetera, et cetera. If you tell them through your plan that you've heard and understood their problem, and then you're willing to take steps to address it directly, then you will get their support. Instead of doing that, Jagmeet Singh says, it's love, hope, and optimism. Like, is that really what you want to hear from a politician? I want to hear the people who forced masks should be put on criminal trial. The people who forced vaccines should be thrown in jail. That's what I want to hear from the politicians, not, let's be hopeful, everybody. Oh, sure, the world's blowing up because we're blowing it up, but let's ignore that and be hopeful. Oh, that's awfully racist to point out that cutting off somebody's hand is something that happens in third world countries, Mark. Okay. All right. Oh, sorry, I didn't put this back, did I? I apologize. I didn't put this back. So Jagmeet Singh says, I see PP has tweeted blah, 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 blah. So is that childish? Am I looking at that in a biased way? I mean, I don't particularly like Pierre Poilievre either. But again, the way he does it sounds like strategy. The way Pierre Poilievre does it sounds like a childish kid. Concerned Canadian says, don't be fooled by the statement by his statement to the Liberal Party that he is rescinding the support agreement, he is not doing this for Canada. He is doing this because the NDP would have forced a leadership review. He also knows this may be the only pathway to re-election. Thoughts? Yeah, I think that's probably pretty true. Gov.exe says, when asked about an election after losing the support of the NDP, Justin Trudeau said he's more focused on climate change. My favorite part of this clip is Justin Trudeau says he doesn't think about politics multiple times during the clip. And the reporter actually nails him down on that, which is great at the end of the clip. But Justin Trudeau seems the least serious of all of these people, maybe because he was blindsided, maybe because he didn't expect this and didn't know how to deal with it. And so he just pivots to basically stump speech stuff. And it's BS. Like it's bad pivots. It's the Liberal tap dance, but it's not a Fred Astaire tap dance. The Liberals used to be able to dance, right? And now it's failing miserably. You're just like, whoa, is that Elaine dancing? What's going on? So he's not as polished as he usually is in this clip. There we go.
Prime Minister Trudeau, you no longer
1 minute 38 Trudeau warning.
Have the support of the NDP. Your party is trailing in the polls and the Conservatives are calling for an election. Is it time to send Canadians to the polls?
I traveled across the country this summer. People talk to me about making ends meet. They talk to me about the high cost of rent and the need for more housing. They talk to me about the environment and climate change and the impacts of it. And these are the things that we're focused on. I'll let others focus on politics, but I will point out that I really hope the NDP stays focused on how to deliver for Canadians, as we have over the past years, rather than focusing on politics.
Have you had an opportunity to think about what your fall will look like now? Will it be just a regular return to the House of Commons, or do you now have to start thinking about maybe calling an election before something happens?
I am not focused on politics. I'll let other parties focus on politics. I'm focused on actually delivering the things that Canadians told me this summer they need.
But with that said, you have to focus on politics at some point when you look at what you're doing. The announcement today, for example, the Bank of Canada rate dropping, it would seem like these would be positive signs that maybe you would want to go to the polls with. So when do you start thinking politically?
Delivering for Canadians is at the heart of what politics is supposed to be about.
Pivot.
An election will come in the coming year, hopefully not till next fall. But in the meantime, I'm not letting down Canadians, and I'm going to stay focused on them.
Nope. Very poor answers, I think, overall. Karina Gould is also upset at Jagmeet Singh, and she is lashing out and then saying, don't worry, we can work with Jagmeet Singh. Everything's fine. Everybody loves the Liberals. Jagmeet Singh is the one who's wrong. Here's Karina Gould, government house leader.
Look, I mean, right now, Mr. Singh is trying to distinguish himself. This whole decision is about Mr. Singh's own political fortunes. It doesn't have to do with anything that we've done over the past 3 years. Because in the video, he talks about how successful he's been. And we've worked really well together to be able to deliver things like dental care. We're working on pharmacare. We're working on a whole range of issues that are beneficial to Canadians. So, I mean, this is really a video about Mr. Singh. It's not so much about us. And, you know, I have to say that I don't think it looks very strong on his part to be doing this right now, but that's his decision, right? And, you know, our job now, and my job as the government house leader, is to go forward with the minority parliament and see what we're going to work on. And I mean, he even said in his press release that, you know, they're going to take this on a vote by vote, case by case basis. So I think there's still going to be opportunities for us to work with the NDP to advance areas of common interest. We're going to be open to working with the Bloc and maybe even the Conservatives because sometimes, you know, interests align, and we'll make sure that everything that we do.
Weren't we told that the Conservatives are, like, no exceptions, bigots, racists, alt-right? You could never work with them. They're evil. I mean, really? And sometimes the Liberals align with these people? Maybe somebody's lying, right? Karina Gould is not believable in the best of times. And so, yikes. Gov.exe says, I believe everything we saw from Jagmeet Singh, Justin Trudeau, and Pierre Poilievre today was a giant show to keep us distracted from the fact that we have traitors in the House of Commons, right? Remember Chinese traitors? I remember the Chinese traitors. We'll talk about them a little later in the show. The House sits in 12 days, and they don't want to revisit those awkward conversations of naming traitors, right? But I think we should make them. I think we should make them. And the pressure campaign on Jagmeet Singh for upholding and propping up Justin Trudeau seems to have worked. So it might be useful to actually to utilize that kind of public pressure and force it, right? It is our responsibility almost, right? Bulldog says the 2026 budget will cause a motion of confidence to fail, and the resulting election will be in April or May, well past Jagmeet Singh's pension day of February 25th. He's finished and irrelevant in his own riding. So yeah, probably. We'll see. Burnaby is a toss-up, but it's not going NDP. So that's very, very interesting, don't you think? Son of a Bench says Jenna Sudds alongside Justin Trudeau announced a $9.1 million investment over 3 years for Newfoundland and Labrador. This is to pay for Canadian student food program. Here are the numbers: 9.1 million over 3 years. That's 3.03 million per year. That's 65,000 students in the province. $48 per student for the year. 190 teaching school days. Grand total of 25 cents per student per day. Wonder what kind of healthy meals each kid is going to get for that. Do you understand? Right? Like, this is not a school food program. This is not anything like that. So Justin Trudeau is a liar at best. And I mean, there are other things at worst. Here's the Post Millennials reporting. This is kind of just a funny moment. And Pierre Poilievre is standing up talking. This is the same presser where he's responding to Jagmeet Singh, and the CBC microphone is broken, and he makes a joke out of it. So I thought it was kind of funny. Here we go.
And then on food prices, well, food prices, I think we've got a CBC. Oh my goodness, CBC's microphone has fallen down. What do you know? Who would have thought that I'd be holding on to the CBC logo here today? I'll give that to you. I don't know if that... everything is broken in Canada after 9 years of the NDP Liberals, including the CBC microphone.
Canadian politicians doing jokes is like medium cringe. Like the whole 15 seconds where he's like, "Oh man, I'm picking this up. There's something funny about this. I'm going to turn this into something funny." All that prep work, right? And then the joke is like, "Oh, okay." But I like that hokiness of our Canadian politics. Like, American politics is like, America, F yeah, right? Like, yes, we can. Like, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, dozens of thousands of people in stadiums screaming and stuff. And Canadians get, oh, look at this CBC microphone's broken, right? Like, I like that quaintness about our politics. It's not the same as American politics in a lot of, oh darn, I just reset that, in a really, really meaningful way. And I like it. But a lot of people think it's hokey. But I like the hokiness. So anyway, moving on. Let's talk about crime. This is a crazy, crazy story. Vancouver police say one man is dead, another man's hand is cut off in stranger attacks. What does that mean? Stranger attacks. Here's Andy Lee. Vancouver Police Chief Adam Palmer told a news conference that a man with more than 60 documented contacts with police and significant mental health issues has been arrested. Stranger attack seems like he was pretty well known. So like if you're walking down a street and you come across a person who is agitated, you would think to yourself, maybe that's a drug addict and maybe, I'll just stay out of his way. But maybe he views that as his territory and he pulls out his machete and he hacks off your hand. Awful. Yeah, but happening in Vancouver, right? Chris says dishonest story covering up the obvious fact that the attacker was wielding a machete. One man killed, another gets his hand cut off in violent, unprovoked stranger attacks. Don't worry, it's targeted. It's a targeted stranger attack. Adam says when people are being murdered and dismembered in broad daylight by random, unprovoked attackers, something is very wrong. People don't want to hear that everything is fine and we're just noticing crime more often. Something has changed, something is terribly wrong. And well, yeah, yes. Adam continues, dismembering might be too strong a word, but I don't know how to write this. Headlines say hand cut off involving stranger attacks shouldn't be possible in a safe modern city. I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, do you bring your broadsword with you or just a dagger, right, to protect yourself? I'm kidding, mostly. Tongue firmly in cheek. North Vancouver is responding to all this. North Vancouver RCMP say, stop means stop. No rolling or coasting. Just a good old complete halt before the white line. Rolling through, that'll cost you $167 and 3 demerit points on your license. Our traffic officers are out there enforcing this rule on many problematic locations, they say. Hey, officer, I'm just wondering what happens if somebody cuts off my hand, right? Is there a ticket for that? Or like, will you do anything at all? No. What they will do is release people. This guy, Tamara Lich, highlights how insane this all is. And we're going to watch the video in just a sec. But Tamara says, there really are no words. I'm a peace-loving, law-abiding prairie mother and grandmother in the longest mischief trial of all time for making videos calling for peace, love, and respect, and because other people were wearing the same hoodie as I was. The Coutts boys have been locked up for over 900 days, even after a jury of their peers found them not guilty of their most serious charge. Canada, eh? And so Alex says, in Canada, if you're caught with 27,000 fentanyl pills and then go on to confess that you're a drug trafficking mule, 0 jail time. But if you attend an anti-Trudeau protest or scuff the bottom of your shoe on a rainbow sidewalk, straight to jail. Right? It's very, very interesting how certain people are allowed to continue operating like drug mules, but anybody who's got a Canadian flag saying, I think there's traitors in our government, I mean, remove your YouTube channel and straight to jail. One of the other aspects of this whole thing, have you ever watched Lord of War? Lord of War. It's got Nick Cage. I used to hate Nick Cage when I was a kid. And then he's like a fine wine. Have you ever seen, never mind. But Lord of War talks about how he's a weapons trafficker and he traffics weapons, and he is an international weapons trafficker from Ukraine. I think he's from Ukraine. And this character is from Ukraine, not Nick Cage. And anyway, through the course of the movie, he gets arrested. And the guy who's been chasing him, Nick Cage's character, is this guy's white whale. He's like, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to put this guy away. And he thinks he's got him dead to rights. And so they're sitting in the interrogation chamber or the interrogation cell or whatever. And he's like, I've got you. And Nick Cage is like, yeah, I guess, kind of. You're going to get a phone call and I'm going to walk out of here and you're going to be really disappointed and you're not going to understand what's going on, but I'll let you know, maybe in 10 or 15 years or something like that. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he walks out like incredulous, but worried that Nick Cage is right? And then 5 minutes later, but like 10 seconds in the movie, like the next scene, Nick Cage is walking out of the prison and he's like, doing whatever you do to your wrists after you've been handcuffed. And that's it. That's exactly what's happening here. It's like we live in a movie, right? Like, and not the happy Hollywood's not happy. Not the happy ending movies, right? Like the awful, terrible Usual Suspect endings where you had the devil dead to rights the whole time and then he just walks out the front door, right? Verbal was the devil? Yeah. Kevin Spacey, obviously. Okay, here is what happened. I'll read the things on the page here, or on the video here, because it's not set out. But it says, this drug-sniffing dog's behavior led a BC court to throw out 27,000 fentanyl pills as evidence in a drug trafficking case. 27,500. On April 4, 2017, police pulled over Sandor Rigo in Chilliwack, BC for speeding.
You're going a little faster. 124 and a 110. Where are you coming from?
The officer can be heard asking Rigo where he's coming from and why he appeared to be shaking.
Are you nervous a little bit? Shaking a little bit?
I have to eat.
Okay. Go ahead if you...
I have hypoglycemia.
The officer used these observations as a basis to detain Rigo for a drug search.
Hey, just come over here. Okay, so you got nothing. I'm just going to pat you down for weapons.
He was then asked to wait in the RCMP vehicle. And the drug-sniffing dog, Dudes, was dispatched for duty. The video shows the dog sniffing the outside of the driver's side of the van. She is directed to the passenger side of the van, out of view, next to a high concrete curb. The moment in question can be heard but only partially seen now. Did the drug-sniffing dog sit or not?
Oh, that's a good girl.
Captain, the police officer, seeing the dog in odor, had the car towed so that it could be searched. So because they couldn't see this part of whether the dog sat or not, the judge let the criminal go, right? Trafficking, schmafficking. Did he have a Canadian flag on the car? No? See you later, buddy. Your rights have been violated. We're sorry. Here's $1,000. Maybe he got paid out. Maybe he didn't. Who knows? Brian Lilly says a man caught transporting 27,000 fentanyl pills from Vancouver to Calgary was let go by a bizarre ruling from the judge. The ruling found the charter rights against unreasonable search was violated because the drug-sniffing dog only partially sat. You couldn't see it. You just saw the video. You couldn't see it. Could you tell? Couldn't see it. But he had 27,000 pills, and the dog reacted on the one side and not the other. I think that's a reaction, right? So pretty scary stuff. This is crazy stuff. This is absolutely nuts. This happened in a Tim Hortons parking lot. I guess the guy in the vehicle, in the van here, it's a Jeep, is in the stolen Jeep, and he decided to go for an ice cap, and then the police found him, and this is what happened. And it's crazy. Like, I don't remember. Like, this is what happened in Grand Theft Auto, the video game, when I was a kid, not in the local Tim Hortons. It backs up and then drives forward over the cruiser. For real. Any second now.
Maybe I'm not so mad about that.
He's mounting me, like literally. Not mounting the curb, mounting the car.
Yeah.
I've never seen a car go that high off.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, caution also means, I tried to stab the back tire.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah. But it also like landed perfectly back on four wheels after too.
I'm surprised it didn't roll.
I know.
Donningbird Butcher, you know?
That's bizarre.
Stand by.
So there's a bunch. I've seen like 4 or 5 different angles of this scene. There was a 6-minute video of all the police arriving and trying to get this guy out. So he was arrested. But like, wow, right? Like, we're in a situation where it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's going on in Canada, and nobody seems to really be worried about it or anything like that. In fact, they're like, those fentanyl pills were trafficking themselves. You get out of here and have a good day, sir. We're real sorry about this whole inconvenience. Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for watching. This is just a short version of a longer show. If you'd like to get the whole show, you can go over to CanadaPoly.com and sign up for a subscription. Just look in the drop-down tab for Shop and Donate and look for subscriptions, and you'll get immediate access to the full show. Love to see you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.